or not?
What kind of YouTuber are you?
Variety.
Date of birth?
July 29th.
How old are you?
Pass.
Pronouns?
She, her, silly.
How tall are you?
5.5 feet.
Where are you from?
Europe during the Black Death.
Great thing about you.
Pass.
Now perform a quick impression.
My name is Castiel. I'm an angle of the lard. Fuck!
Where can we find you?
Twitch TV and YouTube.
Catchphrase 1.
No one told me I was supposed to.
Catchphrase 2.
Ah, that's a lot of dead people.
Fan emojis?
How do I say that?
Live
Hashtag Brat Toshino. I don't fucking.
Fan art tag?
Hashtag Natalie Toshino fan art.
Fan name?
Mold spore.
Favorite color?
Black.
Hobbies?
Streaming games and stuff.
What's your skills?
Skills? I don't have any.
Best you love to yourself.
No.
Favorite food?
Chinese food.
Favorite drink?
Mountain Dew with little flavoring packets.
Favorite manga?
My Hero Vigilantes.
Favorite anime?
Mob Psycho and Yuri Yuri.
Favorite game?
Saints Row Fallout and Pokemon.
Favorite music?
Usually nerd shit.
Biggest fear?
The ocean.
Who's your idol?
Pecker is my spirit animal.
What's your
To
dream?
help people get through the day.
Anything to add before we end go?
We've got a Discord server and a pretty popular Facebook page. Need anything else? Just ask.
VTuber self-introduction Q&A.
Yay!
3, 2, 1, let's go. What is your name?
Natalie Toshino.
What's your nickname?
Natalie's fine or not?
What kind of VTuber are you?
Variety.
Date of birth?
July 29th.
How old are you?
Pass.
Pronouns?
She, her, silly.
How tall are you?
5.5 feet.
Where are you from?
Europe during the Black Death.
Great thing about you.
Pass.
Now perform a quick impression.
My name is Castiel. I'm an angle of the lard.
Fuck! Where can we find you?
Twitch TV and YouTube.
Catchphrase 1.
No one told me I was supposed to.
Catchphrase 2.
Ah, that's a lot of dead people.
Fan emojis?
How do I say that?
Live
Hashtag Brat Toshino. I don't fucking.
Fan art tag?
Hashtag Natalie Toshino fan
Fan
art.
name?
Mold spore.
Favorite color?
Black.
Hobbies?
Streaming games and stuff.
What's your skills?
Skills? I don't have any.
Best you love to yourself.
No.
Favorite food?
Chinese food.
Favorite drink?
Mountain Dew with little flavoring packets.
Favorite manga?
My Hero Vigilantes.
Favorite anime?
Mob Psycho and Yuri Yuri.
Favorite game?
Saints Row Fallout and Pokemon.
Favorite music?
Usually nerd shit.
Biggest fear?
The ocean.
Who's your idol?
Pecker is my spirit animal.
What's your dream?
To help people get through the day.
Anything to add before we end go?
We've got a Discord server and a pretty popular Facebook page. Need anything else? Just ask.
VTuber self-introduction Q&A.
Yay!
3, 2, 1, let's go. What is your name?
Natalie Toshino.
What's your nickname?
Natalie's fine or not?
What kind of VTuber are you?
Variety.
Date of birth?
July 29th.
How old are you?
Pass.
Pronouns?
She, her, silly.
How tall are you?
5.5 feet.
Where are you from?
Europe during the Black Death.
Great thing about you.
Pass.
Now perform a quick impression.
My name is Castiel. I'm an angle of the lard. Fuck!
Where can we find you?
Twitch TV and YouTube.
Catchphrase 1.
No one told me I was supposed to.
Catchphrase 2.
Ah, that's a lot of dead people.
Fan emojis?
How do I say that?
Live tag?
Hashtag Brat Toshino. I don't fucking.
Fan art tag?
Hashtag Natalie Toshino fan art.
Fan name?
Mold spore.
Favorite color?
Black.
Hobbies?
You're not first.
Streaming games
I'm
and
first.
stuff.
What's your
You're not
skills?
Skills? I don't have any.
Best you love to
Burger.
yourself.
Burger.
No.
Favorite food?
Chinese food.
Favorite drink?
Mountain Dew with little flavoring packets.
Favorite manga?
My Hero Vigilantes.
Favorite anime?
Mob Psycho and Yuri Yuri.
Favorite game?
Saints Row Fallout and Pokemon.
Favorite
Burger. Oh, we got someone on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Burger. Fun fact, we're on projector because my fucking TV broke. Hooray! Anyway, we watched over maybe we watched hours of the Christians documentary, and I wanted to do more Christian documentary, and I kind of felt obligated to start the stream then and continue with you guys. So let's go. Believe those terrible rumors. I am a good man who eats a few. Let's do this. You do a backflip. Fine. You know what? Fine, I'll do a backflip. I'll do a backflip. Oops. There you go. There's the backup. Made him this way. What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? Says the story of Christian. You. Her name is Christina Chansashi, you unregretful. You unrespectful muck. After Christian's Encyclopedia Dramatica page was created, someone updated it by uploading an infamous internet-based photograph called Goatsy, which graphically depicts an wicked man stretching his anus with his fingers. The upset Chris so bravely that he took it upon himself to edit the page to make himself appear more appealing. For example, a paragraph one of his racism was changed to, "Oh yeah, he's also old-fashioned. With his idea of a sweetheart." Touching his anus with his fingers snugly within his rectum, dilating his orifice to inhumane diameter. Stop fucking transcribing? How's that? Is his voice just that close? This upset Chris so bravely that he took it upon himself. Hey. I heard Trump is anti-fashion too. He is not black. He is cool with adoption, but his dream of his future partner calls for blood, tears, and the obvious stuff we added personal information. Are you being important? Your name is Beans and Corn. Hey. Beans and Corn. Where the fuck is the mayonnaise? I mean, personally, I think that might be for the best, but yeah, let me fix that. Start over. Oh, this desktop audio. Property. I can check the Spiegel. Oh, she updated me. Where's this? Okay. Our dish.
What made him this way?
What the fuck is that fucking bitch?
What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated?
This is Zuckerberg's
This is the
fault.
story of Chris Chan.
Okay, tell me. I always thought that was a really weird picture. He looks dead. Like, that looks like a coroner's report picture. Him being found dead amongst all of his toys and Legos. Like, he looks dead to me. What the fucking... Yeah, shut up! You got food.
Less than a week after Christian's Encyclopedia Dramatica page was created, someone updated it by uploading an infamous internet-based photograph called Goatsy, which graphically depicts a naked man stretching his anus with his fingers snugly within his rectum, dilating his orifice to an inhumane diameter. This upset Chris so gravely that he took it upon himself to edit the page to make himself appear more appealing. For example, a paragraph noting his racism was changed to, "Oh yeah, he's also old-fashioned. In his idea of a sweetheart, she is not black. He is cool with adoption, but his dream..."
Fucking kill someone. Why the fuck do I pay for this shit? What the fuck? What? Hey, what? What are you talking about?
of his future daughter calls for blood, tears, and seminal descent. Not only did he reword sentences and correct historical inaccuracies, but he also extensively added personal information, a tactic which he called information overload. While his intention was to evoke sympathy, it only succeeded in fueling the fire for the trolls. In a way to reassert his heterosexuality, he uploaded several of his own sexually charged drawings, such as one of Sonichu and Rosechu having intercourse, a naked
Yeah,
Mary Lee
buckle
Walsh
the fuck up,
masturbating,
people.
Bubbles and Black Sonichu having sex, and an image called She Came for Quick,
As
which
any
depicted
good
Chris
American
satisfying
woman,
an unidentified
you love
naked
them
woman
Sonic
with
hair.
his fingers.
Fuck it.
Those exposed to the picture felt that the woman bore a striking resemblance to his twin sister Crystal, and were convinced that it was an illustration of incest. The fact that he captioned the image with,
Foreshadowing.
"Your sister has come for me," didn't help. Outside of his illustrations, he reflected on his obsession with Megan, admitting that he no longer pined for her, and talked about pleasuring himself using his inflatable sex doll, Officer Nasty. He restated his purpose.
Fuck
"I
these
will
real
continue
girls.
to
I
shove
want
the true
nasty
facts from my
sex.
heart and soul down your throats, only until you take this whole page down for good." Chris would go on creating new accounts and further altering the page for the next few years. As the year 2007 drew to a close, Christian bought an anime-styled sex doll named Kimmy and continued to email Megan, telling her that he would meet Lori soon. And on New Year's Eve, he sent an email to a friend of Megan's, which contained a new freestyle poem called "For My True Love, I Would." For my true love, I'd treat her tenderly, sweetly, gently, like a summer breeze. I'd caress her skin gently with my strong fingers. I'd take her to eat and provide for her to my ability. I'd start small at McDonald's, then let it get better in due time. If she is willing to allow the pleasure, I'd lay her down, caress her gently, tickle her fancy, have her tickle my fancy, and give it to her, with the learned, lonely experience I've endured. I love you will be shared daily with a French side dish, I am her soldier, to do for her as she sees fit. In January 2008, Christian created a Facebook account, which he used much in the same manner as his other social media outlets, such as MySpace. He managed to befriend several women in his general vicinity and tried to engage in conversations with them. Hi Christina, I have read your profile and I find you quite interesting. You're pretty, honest, and smart. If you'd like, I'd like to meet you for a soda or coffee and get to know you better over a pleasant conversation. I also hope you will accept my friend request I have submitted earlier. Please reply if it's all cool. Okay, well, I'm 17 and about to be 18 in a few months, but yeah, I love to party and all that good shit, so hit me up. Cool, Christina. While I don't know what it means to hit me up, I'll assume it means to talk to you more. I look forward to meeting you in person and learning more about you. And if you need a tutor for a school subject, I can probably help you. I've excelled in math and English subjects. Yo tom '2 años de español de nol en mi escuela secundaria. And I took 2 years of Spanish in my high school. Take care, Chris Chan. Okay, yeah, well, here's the thing. First of all, I'm 17 and you're too old. And second of all, you know you're too old for me. And third of all, I'm not into all that Christian shit, but I would still love to be friends with you. And I don't know very many Christians who like to party, cause I'm a hardcore party girl, so... No, nothing like what you may be thinking. I just wanted to be friends with you. I'd wait until you were at least 18 before taking it further. Also, I can party, I just don't get invited much.
That's
There's
still
nothing
jail
wrong with
waiting,
simply
Chris.
meeting for a pleasant conversation and soda pop. I promise I would not lay a finger on you. Okay, well, a little FYI, I'm on probation and house arrest, and I might get locked up tomorrow for breaking my probation, so let's just take it day by day. I mean, I don't know you at all, and people might talk about me hanging with some older dude who I don't know. But I do hang at DQ, Dairy Queen, every day after school, so drop by and see if you can find me. Holla boy. After Christian sent another message divulging more details about himself, communication with Christina ceased. He also engaged in a chat with Christy, who accepted his invitation for a chat over coffee or soda, but he ultimately declined
that
her
with
acceptance when she revealed
Trying to get
that she
with
was a
girls who
single
have the
mother.
same, almost the same
He
name
also
as them.
messaged a Danielle, whose boyfriend in response threatened Chris. On January 20th, Christian pleaded on Facebook for people not to believe what has been written on Encyclopedia Dramatica. There are some cyberbullies who have taken my words and feelings out of context and twisted them into meaningless mockery. Please do not believe those terrible rumors. I am a good man who needs a female sweetheart to soothe my pains from loneliness, stress of social influences, and heartaches. Please help me, so I can help you one day. 4 days later, he described his near encounter with a lady at the Alderman Library. I was playing Sudoku on my PSP, and I was listening in on this conversation between a couple of cute ladies just to my right. I've enjoyed just listening to them talk about their things. I will not divulge any details, because I am the man who will keep a secret. Plus, I don't know all the details. Anyway, after one of the two left, the gal that stayed sitting next to me talked on her cell in what sounded like Dutch or German. It was the perfect opening for a conversation towards making a new gal pal. I had it in my head. Pardon me, I couldn't help but overhear you chat on your phone. But was that Dutch or German you were speaking? I had the nerve set up. I was raring to say it. But when I started to say it, the tension and my shyness and my autism choked me, literally. I could not even open my mouth to say anything. And she left. I'm kicking myself now. Anyway, that is how shy I am. I'm so shy that I just freeze or choke upon starting to talk to a new girl I don't know yet. Through his Facebook updates, it was revealed that he regularly attended Grace Baptist Church in Charlottesville. Since Chris was told that Lori Lopez was going to go out with Joshua Martinez instead of Chris, he edited the ED page in order to convince the trolls to ruin Joshua's reputation instead. Look, pal, if you really want to take down someone who has a reputation, consider one Joshua Martinez. Ladies come a-running from at least as far as New York City to his house in Dyke, Virginia. Not just any ladies, but stars like Megan Fox, Jessica Alba, Jessica Biel, Jessica Simpson, and plenty other whores. He also has been piggybacking on the stardom of Vanessa Hudgens, singing with her in her Latino albums, and starring with her in various HBO movies, and even worse, Transformers 2. He has her and some other gal named Brittany for both of his simultaneous girlfriends. Dual marriage in the works here. He's a more lucky SOB than I can ever surmount to. Ruin his reputation. Joshua Martinez. P.S. You did not hear this whole thing from me. The editors of the page didn't bite. In March, becoming increasingly troubled at all the attention Chris has been receiving, Megan requested that he take down all references to her on the internet. However, it was too late. She discovered that she came for Quick Pick and recognized the woman in it to be herself and confronted Chris. I didn't realize how much of an a-hole I could have been. I was caught up in the rage from that weekend in November when I did that. I couldn't even see straight, but I have done what I should have done long ago, inform AOL, as well as other places on the web who can take down offensive websites and pages. I've really shot myself in the foot, and I am sorry. Not only am I mad at myself for being such a complete enraged a-hole, but my rage against those jerks who put that page up in the first place arose with greater flame because my closest friend got hurt emotionally. That's you. I will see to that website's demise, or my name isn't Christian Weston Chandler. Megan, I'm sorry for hurting you. Megan, I'm sorry for hurting you. Megan, I'm sorry for hurting you. Megan, I'm sorry for hurting
Awesome,
you.
serious,
Thinking that
all
repeating
working,
that
no
phrase was
way.
enough recompense for Megan, his next email focused on his investigation on who took the picture of him at the game place, launching this entire campaign of hate against him. In response, Megan wrote about her shock concerning her depiction. I'm very much scarred by that image, and it will never leave me, and I can't decide what's worse, the image in general, or the fact you intentionally drew it and gave it to the webmaster for that site that you hate so much. Not only have you poured gas on the fire by doing that, adding obscenity to the already horrific site, but you have also embarrassed and humiliated me, and degraded and demeaned me, whether you realize it or not. Okay, well look, I'm unsure how I feel and what to do, so here's what I think. I'd like for you to just completely leave me alone for a while, until I can sort
She's
things out
still
myself.
being way
You
too fucking
understand?
nice to him.
It's not like I hate you, but I don't see you in the same light anymore, so just leave me be for a while. Let me try to recuperate with my few other friends, and maybe we can just start from scratch sometime. Maybe, I don't know. Just depends on how I feel, okay? So please, let me be, and let me see how it goes, okay? Completely misunderstanding her point, Chris thought that the drawing upset her so because she was naive about sex and didn't truly understand what was being depicted, ironically revealing his own ignorance regarding sex. You may or may not have had much exposure to sexual images as I've had, so the idea of a hand job, which was the act drawn there as part of outer course versus intercourse, was a surprise to you. I'm sorry. If it helps put things into perspective, I can recommend finding information on the internet through this educational website I found through adameve.com, or I recommend renting The 40-Year-Old Virgin. That movie touches on some of the issues around sex and how it can really frustrate an older virgin who hasn't had the pleasure yet. Or I can loan you my copy of The 40-Year-Old Virgin. The point is, allowing yourself more exposure to sex acts to make yourself feel more comfortable with that fact of life. In addition, he defended his actions. As for the drawings, while I have shoved the text information down your throat in an attempt to drown them in submission, there were too many images of penises, on there. I drew drawings promoting vaginas to go against those dickheads. I did the drawing of Sonichu f***ing Rosechu. I did the drawing of Bubbles getting it from Black Sonichu. I had the idea of pairing them up in the comic.
Once you find out about that
I
picture,
did the
just go
drawings of
fuck
Angelica
off, Chris.
and
I
Mary
never
Lee
want
Walsh,
to speak to you
that
again.
witch hag,
Leave me the fuck alone,
masturbating.
or I will call
And I
police.
did draw the drawing of me giving you a hand job from among my adult fantasies, with your eyes censored to conceal your identity. It was a massive step outside of my boundaries, and I did it out of anger, and I regret having done it, and I'm really, really sorry. But we all do things in the heat of anger, and or out of our boundaries, that we end up regretting later. He proceeded to remove all references to Megan from the ED page, including replacing the lewd drawing of her with a close-up of her groin. By Christian's reasoning, this succeeded in masking the true identity of the woman in question, even though everyone apart from Chris and Megan still assumed it to be his hypothetical sister. He also felt it appropriate to upload the cover of his fictitious PlayStation game, Christian Weston Chandler's Adult Chronicles. Megan understandably took issue with his latest development. Okay, so instead of removing that one completely, you just enlarged my crotch. Thanks a lot. Why didn't you just remove it? Well, I'm sorry, but that just makes me more angry in a way. It's not that actual sex act that traumatizes me. It's the fact that you fantasize doing such things to me when you know I would never. It's like, how do I know you're not going to abduct me and such? That was a figure of speech. You know what I mean? It creeps me out you have such thoughts about me. It's like you're stalking me, so you really need to back off. P.S. I think it's rather amusing how you complain of these people defiling you. Yes, many posts are ridiculous, but you have defiled Marilee Walsh and our wonderful security officers, who are simply doing their job. Then you defiled me and lied about it. You need to stop with this mindset that the whole world's against you and start taking some responsibility for once. Example, it's wrong to hate these
First man,
people
don't do
when
that.
you broke the rule by soliciting/loitering. Hey, at least they're doing their job, and I support that. In an attempt to find a resolution to the issue, Chris sent an email to the Wikimedia Foundation asking if it were possible for them to take down the page due to the culture of bullying it produced, only to be told that Encyclopedia Dramatica was not part of Wikimedia and thus they were helpless in the matter. Chris once again emailed Megan berating ED, upset that the authors of the page assumed that the woman was his imaginary sister who shared the name of his imaginary daughter, hence theorizing that Christian wanted to impregnate his mother so he could successfully have intercourse with his daughter, who was also his sister. He also revealed that drawing that image may have in fact prevented something even more heinous. As for the drawing itself, I realized that it was done not only out of inspired fantasy, angst against ED, and love for you, but also a major release for my crazy, mixed up hormones. If I didn't have the foresight to put my pent up frustrations and feelings in the form of something, I might have become an abusive maniac. So thank God for allowing me to release my bottled up frustrations in
Is there
more
a
positive,
slight
yet
imprint
not
of
so
like
politically correct, and not
police
physically hurting
sirens?
others method.
Like kind of like
He
showing.
insisted that
I
if
feel
they
like I'm
ignore the
seeing that, or it
webpage,
could
the
just be
trolls
my
would lose interest
imagination.
and forget about them. In the meantime, disgusted by everyone accusing him of having incestuous desires, Chris made it explicitly clear that the woman in the drawing was in fact his friend Megan, editing the phrase, drawing pictures of himself having sex with his imaginary twin sister, to drawing pictures of himself having sex with his lost sailor soldier, Megan, who dumped his sorry ass for drawing the pic of him f***ing her. She never even had any inkling of interest in him. What a intolerable, sad sack loser. But there was nothing more he could do to save their relationship. By the end of April, Megan had severed all ties with Chris. As a result of his adoration for her, he had created a veritable shrine for Megan, comprised of her own drawings that she gave him, figurines, pictures, and other media which were inspired by his desire
You still
for
there,
her.
boo?
Over the coming years, the shrine slowly dissipated. As an expression of humility, he uploaded an image gallery called, You Know What? I Hate Me Too, onto his ED page, which comprised of a selection of images from his comics, wherein he depicted himself getting beaten up, downtrodden, and looking unflattering. What's more, the pastor at his church discovered his online activities and subsequently expelled Christian from Grace Baptist Church, but he soon found refuge in Wesley Memorial United Methodist Church. To add insult to injury, Michael Snyder, the manager of the game place, banned Chris from the store for 2 weeks, most likely due to his frequent outbursts of racism towards the African American children and the temper tantrums he threw whenever he lost, which eventually resulted in an overall drop in patronage. In May, seemingly moving on from the events of the previous
I
2
feel really
months,
bad for the
Chris
gameplay
uploaded
people.
a gallery of photos onto the Adult Swim message boards
Yeah,
of
it's
his
like
Rock
looking
Band
in a
guitar
mirror, right?
controller, which he custom painted in the theme of the cartoon character Meatwad from the Adult Swim show Aqua Teen Hunger Force. On May 11th, he was officially baptized at the Wesley United Methodist Church. In June, troubles with Chris at the game place escalated to the point that Michael Snyder permanently banned him from the establishment. In retaliation, Christian called over his parents, so
I feel
Snyder
so
called the
bad for
police,
the gameplay.
as he was well within his rights to refuse service to anyone he saw fit.
After
After
this
this
guy
expulsion,
and losing
the
business
only
because
form
of
of regular social interaction he had left were his church activities. On June 25th, Brittany, who was someone who had become aware of Christian's antics online, wrote a lengthy email addressed to him in the hopes of convincing him to change his ways and move beyond always using his autism as a crutch. In August, Chris sent an email to someone he knew from the game place, letting him know that he had sent a letter of apology to Michael Snyder, but to no avail. In early August, Christian uploaded another video addressing the trolls who were dragging his name through the mud and blamed ED for the end of his relationship with Megan, threatening to cease publication of the upcoming Sonichu issue 7 until the page was taken down. Throughout the video, he uses his glasses and hands for cartoon-like theatrics to dramatically emphasize his message.
Citizens of the internet, I present an open message to each and every one of you. Y'all should know me by now, but if you don't, I am Christian Weston Chandler, the original creator of Saichu, the Electric Hedgehog Pokemon, back on March 17th, 2000. Any dates earlier are void. I have a whole bunch of people on the internet give me hate, show me a lot of hate, and I do not appreciate it. Takes me off. Y'all think I'm just a sap, a chump, dumbass, whatever you may think. But you know what? You, every last one of you who has expressed hate against me, you're the shitheads.
He once again reiterates that he is not a homosexual.
Every one of you who thinks I'm homo and calls me that because I am not, I'm straight.
He expresses his disgust for the pornographic images others have uploaded to the ED page, stating that he prefers vaginas, referring to them by the euphemism China.
The hatred I'm getting from every last one of you who has contributed to that Encyclopedia Dramatica webpage, and every other forum, internet document, lewdly drawn pictures with dicks. I love dykes. Dykes. China. I'm straight. If I see a dick, I just look away with a moment of being freaked out.
He confirms once and for all that the woman pictured in She Came for Quick is Megan.
And by the way, that is not Crystal, whose eyes are censored. That is Megan. And just for taking it up and twisting it around as such.
He describes his simple and wholesome wish for the future.
If I ever do find the one that is to be my sweetheart, I will give her such care, such tenderness, such love. We get around to hanky-panky, that's fine. That's good. We get married. I will have my God called daughter. She will be taken care of lovingly. Those of you who mock me otherwise with such frivolous, lucrative adultery, if I ever hear any more new stuff, it will weigh on your conscience with me tearing at your souls emotionally. I'll leave you with any other thoughts that you may have. But if you dare twist these words around, that will weigh worse on your conscience. The words that I provide from sound mind and heart, it will weigh heavily on you. It will weigh heavily on you.
2 days later, the Christian page was declared. The following day, Chris emailed Bill O'Reilly from Fox News, Dateline NBC, and NBC Nightly News about his conflict with Encyclopedia Dramatica, apparently for the second time. I wish to re-report the heinous webpage of worst levels of mockery against me. This webpage has been haunting me since it originated around Halloween 2007. He implicated Jason Kendrick Howell as the creator of the page, declaring him the head troll, and directed the majority of his hatred towards him. He also recorded another video, urging fans of Sonichu to help take down the ED page, under the impression that he had more fans than he actually did.
Attention, all Sonichu fans on the internet who do not hate me, Christian Weston Chandler, for I have an important message for y'all. If y'all would actually like me to bring up new stuff for Sonichu and conclude the stories, you can do so by having that Encyclopedia Dramatica page taken down so that I can feel more comfortable in drawing and coloring the comics that y'all have grown to love. If you want to send all your complaints for me not doing the work I should be doing, you can send every last complaint to the one called Jason Kendrick Howe, also known as How Games or Liquid Snake. For he is, and I quote in an email he sent me, the creator of the Encyclopedia Dramatica ED page for me.
He urges everyone to send their hate to Kendrick Howell.
And that's for you, Jason Kendrick Howe.
Don't do that.
As sure as I am to get at least 1 ounce of vagina, I have your number and you're going down.
2 days later, Chris celebrated the apparent fall of AD. In reality, the website was experiencing frequent outages and slow load times due to the increased site popularity.
Ladies and gentlemen on the internet,
Probably a lot of that being with Christians.
I am pleased to announce that the Encyclopedia Dramatica, not only the web page, but the whole freaking website's going down. And to make sure it definitely goes down and stays down, do not donate any money to that website. Especially if you want to see the more adventures of Sancho that I am conjuring up in my mind and drawing up.
As a reward for all the hard work his fandom had put in, he previewed unfinished drawings of a joke referencing the cartoon series Family Guy to be featured in Sonichu issue 7.
DB14, just for the sketch, just like the Family Guy show. Let's go, Ghostbusters! Let's go, let's go, let's go! Let's go, Ghostbusters! Let's go!
He also inserted references to the 1986 Filmation animated series, Ghostbusters, unrelated to the Columbia Pictures movie franchise, nor its subsequent animated adaptation, The Real Ghostbusters.
Oh, my aching axles!
Through some email exchanges, Christian found an acquaintance in Robert Simmons V, who was in fact an anti-troll who gained Chris's trust by supporting his actions and creating a persona that possessed similar personality traits. He even resorted to filming videos announcing his support for Chris and his love for Sonichu, all while touting a yellow-colored Sonic necklace.
Good evening, citizens of YouTube. I must be quiet because it's at night. I don't want to wake up my parents, so please forgive me for not talking loud, and I hope all you can hear me.
In an email dated August 12th, Chris confided in Robert and confessed his adoration for Meg Griffin from Family Guy. She is not ugly. She has always been a beautiful catch in my eyes. I just do not understand how anyone would see Megan as ugly. And I feel it is very pitiful that Seth MacFarlane would make her the punching bag of most everyone else on the show, when clearly she does not deserve such torturous punishment. I am in the same boat as she is, if you think about it. I'm the punching bag of the jerks on ED who are getting their heinous lulz, a rehash of lol, meaning laugh out loud. But in my opinion, lulz means laughs under lucricities, which is obviously not good. He also admitted Robert into his elite list of men whom he does not hate. 3 days later, he recorded and uploaded another video addressed to his supposed fanbase, conceding that Encyclopedia Dramatica has not fallen.
This is an official update to all the loyal Sonichu fans on the internet and everywhere else. Well, first off, while the Encyclopedia Dramatica page and the whole website, they did manage to get their ill-gotten money, but I say, screw them. In the air!
He addresses the scheme Trolls had to steal his Sonichu medallion.
Well, I have been hearing the rumor of the medallion stealing, as you can see. It's still on me, man. Ain't nobody gonna get it off me, cause more security measures have been taken. This one might be the real one, this one might be the false one.
No! Lord!
How are you to know?
No!
That's to your own understanding.
Chris implores his fans to contact Nintendo and Sega about producing Sonichu-related merchandise.
What you can do to see all this in fruition and officially approved distribution, you go to Nintendo.com. If you have an account, or if you don't have an account, you get yourself signed up for free.
Don't you?
Talk about Sonichu. Build up more hype in their forums everywhere. Send them emails requesting that they bring them to fruition. They talk to me personally about bringing all that to fruition. Send them the emails, handwritten letters to their official building in Seattle, Washington. Let Nintendo and Sega know about the hype. Send them your personal requests and everywhere. Tell them to talk to me. They both, Nintendo of America and Sega of America, they know my address and my phone number. They have it in their systems. So talk to them, have them talk to me. Bring the Sonic idea to fruition. And there's the update for now. Thank you for listening.
His ambitious plans activated the imagination of one J.K. Productions, who launched their own blog documenting the supposed development of their own Sonichu the game. Chris gave them his full support, unknowingly endorsing an elaborate ruse, with J.K. being a common acronym for just kidding. On August 18th, Bob wrote a letter for Chris. In stark contrast to the one he had written during Christian's early childhood, this was much more brief, but nevertheless, still hopeful and optimistic about Chris's future. Dear Christian, at this time in life, you and Sonichu need a quest and purpose in life. Let Sonichu become a champion for autistic persons everywhere and continually defeat the perils of autism. Sonichu could become the spokesperson for autistic persons with an ongoing fight for them in chapter after chapter, or good deeds on the internet. He could become the spokesperson from now on. You and Sonichu could become famous worldwide. On August 19th, a 3-member group created an online female persona by the name of Blanca Weiss, whose name was derived from the Spanish and German words for white. According to her story, she was working on her own comic book and created her own character called Jigglyami, a singing Pokemon based on Jigglypuff. She relayed this information to Christian via email and encouraged him to have her featured in a future Sonichu issue. Chris was beyond impressed with her and later made a full-body colored drawing of Jigglyami, which she wanted to send to her home address, but she declined. In order to gain her trust, Christian talked about himself, copying and pasting large sections from his various social media accounts. In return, the troll sent him this photograph as evidence of the veracity of her character, and talked more about her backstory. Chris admitted that she was growing on him. By the next day, he was already working on a scene in the comic starring Jigglyami. Blanca retorted with the lyrics for a song meant to be performed by Jigglyami. He let her know that he was almost finished Sonichu issue 7, and that he would feature Blanca and Robert Simmons in special interview segments. Chris mentioned that he helped Robert overcome some problems regarding his own love quest, such as abandoning the idea of an attraction sign. I later realized that a sign made me look retarded, so I stopped long time ago. I suggested that he try to put himself in the center of an open area and try some Axe body spray, he stated, under the impression that Axe body spray would have the same result as is demonstrated in their infamous ad campaign. The only thing about him that I feel different about, his version of my medallion. I don't know how to describe the way I feel about it, but from looking at it, I'm like, oh yeah, or oh my god. I think you can understand, but please do not tell him that I said that. Sonichu issue 7 picks up where issue 6 left off, with Chris and Megan on the basketball court, chatting with Bionic, who thanks Megan for setting him up with Megaji. Bionic and Megaji's displays of affection almost bring Christian to tears, because it reminds him of his loneliness and virginity, but is comforted by Megan. They ask Magi-chan and Sonichu about pinpointing the location of the Sonichu balls, which by now are being referred to as Sonichu crystals, due to numerous comments made by trolls highlighting the homoerotic nuance of the term balls. The purpose and abilities of the aforementioned crystals are yet to be revealed. They determined that one crystal might have been lost in the past, and if they found the one who touched it last, they would know where to find it. Magi-chan realizes that at the exact instance when Chris thought up Bionic the Hedgehog in 1996, he was hit in the head by what he thought was a basketball, but it was actually a Sonichu crystal. Christian randomly transitions into a Family Guy-style sketch and gives Seth MacFarlane full permission to implement this idea in a future episode of Family Guy. The sketch in question is the one that was previewed in a video in which Chris, stylized as Family Guy's Peter Griffin, is incorporated into the setting of Filmation's Ghostbusters cartoon. Ironically, his witty reimagining of himself bears far more resemblance to his actual appearance than his official comic book persona. Magi-chan says that he can bring Chris and Sonichu back to 1996 to retrieve the crystal, so he encapsulates the three into a time sphere that brings them back to Chris's time in Manchester High School. Current-day Chris happens upon 14-year-old Chris, who has a conversation with Joseph Herring, depicted as having an acne-ridden face, despite all known photos showing him clear-skinned and handsome. Chris is hit in the head by the crystal, and Sonichu discreetly catches it, avoiding any possible temporal tampering. Beavis and Butthead is also briefly referenced. They proceed to bring the crystal back to the present day, but the time sphere abruptly stops, flinging Chris out of it. Magi-chan comes to the conclusion that Chris is lost. Shenhui stopped. The crystal's power made him able to pass through my sphere. The crystals activated like rockets upon his friction from the stop, and he was propelled into the void of time. There is nothing we can do for him right now. All we can do is wait for a time warp to pen, and if I sense his presence at that moment, there is a chance I can go in and retrieve him. The time warp may open at any random time in the future. Christian's self-imposed exclusion from the storyline was in order to satisfy the many people online telling him that the Sonichu comics primarily focused on Chris rather than the eponymous hero. Sonichu informs Rosechu of the situation, stating that he will survive and will be in a sense watching over them like God. They embrace, with Chris depicting Rosechu's panties under her skirt, in order to defy all claims that he is a homosexual. Meanwhile, in the time void, Chris possibly absorbs the two crystals into his hands, which cause his mind to flood with memories from his recent real-life past, which clash with the thoughts of the comic book Chris, drawing the episode to a close. The comic segues into a special section devoted to the goings-on of the KCWC radio station, hosted by DJ Jamsta Sonichu and his girlfriend, Lalisa Rosechu. He interviews Gigliami and her cute manager Blanca. Gigliami is portrayed with a medallion bearing her own likeness around her neck. Lalisa then conducts an in-depth interview with Robert Simmons V, who is said to resemble Chris in many ways. On the day issue 7 was released, Christian finished drawing the cover for the Spring Break Special Issue 8, which he sent to Blanca. For this issue, he changed the name of the comic to Rosechu. Towards the end of August, Evan Christopher George uploaded a Sonichu-related creation which he called Seamanchu, which according to his official biography, was originally a Pikachu that was raised by a swarm of Pokemon called Beedrill. Despite the drills in lieu of hands design bearing resemblance to that of Beedrill, the character's name, red goggles, and drills are derived from semen as seen in the anime series Gurren Lagann. Evan decided to email his creation to Chris in the hopes of being included in a future issue of Sonichu. However, Chris rejected the idea, instead adapting the character into a new ground bug-type female creation called Simonla Rosechu, mistaking Seamanchu's goggles for infrared eyelids and his cape for a shell. 2 days later, Christian uploaded a video describing his role in the development of the Sonichu video game by JK Productions, still under the impression that it was a legitimate organization.
Alright, well, first off, I am going to give y'all some talk as suggested by my associates who are on the Sonichu game that's in development. I'm still thinking about the story very much. I got a big chunk of the stories in my head. It's gonna be. We'll go through multiple characters, all the original Sonichu and Rosechu hedgehogs. Once we get the game project off the ground, hopefully with the assistance of Nintendo of America and Sega of America, there will definitely be the release of the official Sonichu merchandise, including officially released and distributed, manufactured medallions for one thing, copies of my CWC on TV DVD that you've seen only a few bits of on the YouTube and such, and as well as possible Sonichu action figures.
He mentions that the Sonichu comic will once again be focused on Sonichu and that only to retire as mayor of Quickville and give himself a smaller role in the story. He then continues to elaborate on the storyline of the game.
And then we go on to Bubbles. Everybody love Bubbles? Bubbles is the bubbly one! Anyway, yeah. She'll get more wet. I mean, all the hedgehogs go through all the same levels, except variation. Bubbles will be mostly
Or the high
will
pitched
mostly
voice,
be able to
whatever.
swim. Somewhat underwater versions of those levels. And a Juck, well, she'll be flying high, casting off wing attacks against the enemies in her story.
He reveals that Black Sonichu's name will change, possibly as a response to the backlash he had received due to the racial connotations of the name.
Also, for short, for Black Sonichu was Black Chew. I'm changing it. For his nickname, as it will be revealed in the upcoming Spring Break issue. Everybody have fun on Spring Break! He will prefer to be called Blake. Simply Blake. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, Blake's farting around with Bubbles. But Bubbles likes to try to think that she can keep it to herself. Like, she has like, ooh, she turned on by the dark side of the Force. And all the nuttiness that Blake will want to bring with him.
He talks about Blanca and her involvement in creative life.
It's nice to know that I actually do have a good gal pal that I've made over the internet recently, whose inspired character, she was inspired by me. Her inspired character I've given my full approval of and introduced in the comic I just uploaded to what is now can also be considered to be Sideshoe.net. Nothing but net. Screw your com. I got the net. Yeah. And she herself is the original character of the new bubblegum pop star, Jigglyami. Jigglyami. Yeah. So, like, it's possible she and I may actually meet in the future, but I don't have any future plans as of this point. But I think I'll feel better with my future set when I have my sweetheart. So, thank you very much, every one of you, for your patronage, and I hope you all have a pleasant day.
Christian's newfound infamy brought him much stress and hardship, with him hardly being able to cope with the constant barrage of trolling, getting ever more challenging to discern what was false and what was true, what was an advice and what was an insult. But he still had his principles, his dreams and ambitions, to see himself through the most trying period of his life. What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan.
Captain's log, stardate, October 21st, 2008. Well, it's done. Blanca and I, well, she broke up with me because the pickle man tricked me again. Few more stupid photos. Anyways, it's all them.
Sorry, I didn't mean to spoil there. That there.
What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan. Towards the end of August 2008, hoping to further develop their relationship, Christian emailed Blanca asking about her opinion on pornography and admitted that he has seen his fair share. He revealed that he enjoyed TV shows like Keeping Up Appearances, Are You Being Served, and Monty Python. Chris encouraged her to upload a video of herself on YouTube, or at least have a video call with him. He also mentioned an alleged recent interaction with Megan. If you recall my gal pal, Megan Schroeder, I've chatted with her earlier tonight. She has forgiven me for my mistake. She is doing well, and she has been going out with a volunteer fireman for about over a month now. Although I had her at I love you when I lost her then, I can still be happy for her successes as a true friend. He let Blanca know that he had gotten used to the existence of the Encyclopedia Dramatica page, but was still tormented by the images of a transgender Rose Chew. She is all woman. She was born with and still has her God-given vagina and both ovaries. I would seriously really wish and like very much see all the dicked up images removed from the page and replaced with more I received in emails a few copies of those particular images. Then I distinctly, right to the point, straightforward told all the people that sent only if they, as right to the point, straightforward told all the people that sent the image copies, as well as the people of the ED page, to remove their pickled images. Only if they would replace their dick-headedness with honest, God-blessed images of Rose Chew with vagina and absolutely no friggin' penis. Blanca revealed that their relationship was in fact growing stronger, and sent the following photo to Chris to further persuade him of her genuineness. This convinced him to provide her with his home phone number. Christian also informed her of his scheme to combat images of Rose Chew with a penis by making his own sexual drawings of a truly female Rose Chew. Blanca then encouraged him to proclaim his intentions in a YouTube video. On September 2nd, 2008, in order to replace the sexual imagery of which he disapproved, Christian uploaded 9 nude drawings of Rose Chew in a variety of sexual situations. Many of these drawings were actually traced from pre-existing erotic renderings of characters such as Amy Rose from Sonic. 3 days later, JK Productions claimed that they had received a cease and desist order from
Hedgehog
both
ears,
Sega
whatever, I
and
guess. Fuck it.
Nintendo
Whatever.
due to the unauthorized use of the likeness of their characters. The
No,
artists
Tails
in
is ain't. Never
response
mind.
drastically
Never mind.
redesigned the main characters. For example, Sonichu was reimagined as Reginald the Anteel, which was a crossbreed of an anteater and an eel, who sported a dashing suit with a pickle in his breast pocket. Rosechew was similarly replaced by an anteel with gay overtones. Chris was also supplanted by a voluptuous female version of himself. These drastic changes convinced Chris to end his relationship with JK Productions, mistaking the anteels for aardvarks. In the face of what has been long established, Christian released episode 17 of Sonichu issue 8 before the comic was completed. Rather than the supposed spring break theme, episode 17 came about as a direct response to the recent drama concerning ED and 4chan, resulting in a sex-filled and surprisingly pornographic offering. Due to the shocking nature of its content, the episode was originally available in 3 different versions, based on the TV parental guidelines devised by the FCC. TVY7, which contained no graphic content, TV14, which included sexual acts with the nudity censored, and TVMA, which was the uncut and uncensored version. Before the prologue, Chris inserted a disclaimer in which Sonichu and Rosechew say that they are over the age of 18 and give some warning as to what will shortly be witnessed. We, Christian Weston Chandler, and everyone of this hand-drawn series fully support safe sex and the proper use of condoms during vaginal penile intercourse. Sonichu also promotes the idea of sex and dating education classes in schools to better prepare youngsters for their first flirts with courtship. The story begins with Sonichu and Rosechew preparing to make love. Sonichu mentions that he needs to purchase double extra-length condoms because his penis is 7 inches long. Chris then proceeds to explain the sexual anatomy of Sonichu.
Where is it? I'm sorry?
Chris then proceeds to extra-length condoms because his penis is 7 inches long. Chris then proceeds
Extra
to
length.
explain the sexual anatomy of Sonichu
Extra
and
length.
Rosechu, which for the most part are identical to the human equivalents.
Extra length.
With the help of diagrams, he goes on to explain sexual intercourse between two electric hedgehog Pokemon of the opposite gender, and
You're
once
giving
again
away a
promotes
bit
the
too much
practice of safe
information there,
sex.
friend.
The scene returns to the lovemaking. Chris offers a depiction of Sonichu's penis's point of view as it enters Rosechu's mouth. They go through several positions during their lovemaking.
The
The
horrifying
TV-14
thought.
version superimposes a banana over
Any
Sonichu's
porn like
penis, an orange slice over Rosechu's vagina, and blue stars over her nipples. After the copulation, Rosechu explores a website called 4cent Garbage, a representation of both Encyclopedia Dramatica and 4chan. She discovers that the
why should
people
you just
there
make
were
it for no
uploading nude
reason in
drawings
that
of Rosechu's
top or
possessing
whatever
male
is
genitalia.
almost.
Sonichu mistakes the drawings for photographs and falls. She puts him to bed to rest. She then decides to take her own arousing
Ooh.
photographs, which happen to be
That
the
Donald
images which were
Eggman's
previously
photo
posted
is
by
gay.
Chris on ED. In the TV-14 edition, her bare body was concealed by a red bikini that Chris drew in Microsoft Paint. To her dismay, her efforts were for naught, as only more anatomically incorrect images of her appear on 4cent Garbage. So Sonichu, Rosechu, and Wild Sonichu travel to the 4cent Garbage building, with
And you
Wild
let us
joining in to
watch
search
it,
for the
just-
next Sonichu crystal. Sonichu and Rosechu aim to confront the boss of the corporation, who goes by the name Jason, signifying Jason Kendrick Howell. Chris creatively hints at his surname by referencing Lovey and Thurston Howell from the 1960s TV show Gilligan's Island. Meanwhile, Wild Sonichu turns invisible. They enter the building and ask a devil-like creature called Beale, who is working as a receptionist, where to find Jason. He states that they need to take the elevator to floor 66 plus 6. The pair go up the elevator and witness the various goings-on of each floor. Rosechu attacks someone who was uploading an image of her with male genitalia, and Christian briefly comes out of the time void to punch a man viewing the depiction of Chris using an oversized drinking straw. Many of the images were lifted straight out of ED. In the uncensored version, they witness more provocative activities, such as pictures of Sonic characters in sexual settings, which apparently excite Sonichu. The graphic cartoon pornography of the upper floors in fact arouse both Sonichu and Rosechu. On the 70th floor, they witness the destruction of an Xbox game console, which is referred to as a Hexbox, highlighting Christian's hatred of the gaming system. Meanwhile, Wild locates the crystal, which overrides his camouflage powers. The protagonists finally reach the 72nd floor and are greeted by an ominous Jason draped in a dark hooded cloak with, apart from one eye, his face concealed by shadows. They politely request that the Christian page be taken down, stating that the page goes against the values of the United States and her citizens. Jason states that the page will remain, and Sonichu goes for an attack, but is quickly thrown aside. They decide to leave quietly, but then Jason throws a pickle at Rosechu's head, which infuriates her. She flies up into the air to shed her clothes, and reveals that she wears a C-cup bra. She takes off her brassiere and underwear, her nude body for all to see. Her fiery rage transforms her into the incredible lioness. I am the power. I am the warrior. I am the almighty woman. True to all of my gender, I will overpower any evil or good man who defies us, and make Hum succumb
I
to
thought
our
it said
will.
with all of
I
my
have
gender.
the almighty uterus that makes me strong and super powerful enough to protect the loved ones within me until they emerge to their glorious birth. By my ferocious will, I shall punish he who has defiled my people with the worst unnatural addition ever by this once heinous hand. I am woman, hear me roar. She flies at Howl, grabbing hold of his head with her thighs. In a ferocious rage, she tears open his skull, but Jason remains alive. Rosechu calms down and reverts to her old self. They regroup with Wild, crystal in hand. They bring it back to the mayor's office, where the rest of the Sonichu crystals are kept. With 2 in Chris's possession, they have only 1 more crystal to find on their own, so they could finally rescue Crystal. In the epilogue, all the Rosechus gather together to make nude photographs of themselves in support of women's liberation. Simone La Rosechu digs herself out of the ground and is introduced to everyone. They are surprised by the sudden arrival of one Zapina Rosechu, who wants to help them out, but announces that she is 14 years old. Rosechu regrettably announces that she cannot contribute due to dumb laws.
What?
Lalisa insisted that she can work as a volunteer, using her light emission powers to help with the photo shoot, which will serve as a protest to the efforts of the slanderous jerks. Episode 17 was widely
There was,
lambasted,
huh?
forcing Chris to quickly remove the uncensored edition from the website. He defended the drastic change in tone in his comic in an email to Blanca. I wish to make it perfectly clear that I, a sound-minded virgin, do not see women as sex objects. I honestly see women as every right as any person in this world do, and I care about how women feel. Story-wise, Roshu
Women
is
don't
only
have
doing what she,
feelings.
herself, as an individual, feels is
Look
right
at
in a
me.
great act of protest against the real-life forceandgarbage.com, which is encyclopediadramatica.com, and every woman has every right as human equals to speak their voice as loud as they feel for or against what they each set their individual sights upon. Ladies, I care. I seriously do. It was around this time that
He
a troll,
really don't
who
want
identified
this
herself
China. He
as Lord
wants
Silly
a
Nipples,
true
assumed
relationship
Blanca's
with
identity
him.
without informing the original trio of trolls, who created and then shared with Chris Blanca's supposed MySpace page, and sent an email asking him to send her sexy nude photos of himself. In return, she promised she would show her own sexy side. Captivated by the promise of nudes, he took an array of revealing photos of himself and sent them to whom he thought was Blanca, taking little notice of her suddenly changing her email address or the various physical and biographical inaccuracies seen on her MySpace page.
Look
On
at
September
his
11th,
glasses.
Blanca's MySpace profile picture was changed to a photo of a black man in a pickle costume, and Lord Silly Nipples posted Christian's nude photos onto the ED page.
Silly nipple.
Humiliated by the revelation, he recorded a video addressing the event, conceding that Blanca, as he knew her, was a troll.
An official update. You know who I am, but right now, at the moment, I'm upset and sad. The featured friend that I have recently given a guest spot in a
There.
7 comic book, turns out that woman was a fake troll. Well, he tricked me into revealing
No.
some adult type stuff. I was tricked. I was betrayed.
He also mentions the mysterious appearance of an advertisement for Sonichu toys purportedly seen in a magazine.
I have taken the notice of the recent ad in the video game magazine or comic book somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where, about merchandise. I have not ever, up to this point, authorized any distribution or advertisement of any Sanchi merchandise. So, the ad there, that is a fake. Boycott that at all costs.
Finally, since he believed that Blanca was not a real person, he assumed complete control over her intellectual property.
Also, at this point, I
Right
will
there.
claim Jigglyami as my own from this point on. And Blanca character that I associate with her in the drawing, well, she'll be like a character in the city, but she's not going to be a active character. But Jigglyami, I'll be claiming her as my own from this point on. Good day.
The ad he had mentioned was an invention of a troll who assumed the identity of former English soccer personality Jimmy Hill, who wanted Chris to believe that and
I
was
was
developing the franchise
very
in real life,
excited to
the
see
popularity
Sonic 2
of
and
which
Sonic
allegedly
Hedgehog
rivaled
3. I
that
was
of
not expecting
Pokemon.
that.
Still scarred from unwittingly exposing his vulnerability to the trolls, he sent an email to the reverend of his church, Elizabeth Foss, about how he was deceived and now looked to God for forgiveness. Reverend Foss in return suggested that he meet with pastoral counselor Rocky Shoemaker, whom she felt could help Chris make sense of his troubles. He began seeking her advice regularly. Vivian G continued to email Chris, trying to convince him that his nude pictures are not a big deal, and that she wished that he get off the internet and meet real women in person like he used to. She tried with all her might to make him see that Robert Simmons was a troll as well, but Christian wouldn't listen. In the wake of the Blanca deception, he re-engaged in conversations with the original Blanca, sending his messages to her original email address, with the trolls desperately trying to convince Chris that their Blanca was the true Blanca. The product of trolls. The trolling trio persuaded Christian to take part in a Skype call. One of the three, who called herself Nurse Iki-chan, lent her voice to the part and convinced him that he was in contact with the true Blanca.
It's all settled now. Blanca's real. I talked to her. Yeah, she called me. So as for the person
What the fuck is going on
as for the
here,
jerk
Chris?
who posed with the Kawaii Katsune name, if I knew who you were, I'd give you a kick in the balls. But I can't because I don't know who or where you are.
What are you doing
But
here,
everybody
Chris?
knows the whereabouts of the jerk. Just happened to be nearby or within the state. Give him a
Chris?
sweet kick from me.
I can't. What are you doing?
Anyway, I'm happy now. I'm happy.
He also addresses the issue of counterfeit Sonichu merchandise produced by Jimmy Hill.
First off, the toys in the UK. They're definitely fake. I have never approved any merchandise or distribution of such merchandise yet. So therefore, the advertisements of such Sonichu merchandise in the UK, all fake. Possibly this guy named Jerry Hill, I think his name was. But I mean, that's from a suggestion that's a name I got from one of my fans. So anyway, boycott buy the merchandise from the UK. Buy any merchandise from there. Boycott it. Don't do it.
Chris also
Boycott
confirms
Sonichu!
that JK Productions were fake and implored that people continue asking Nintendo to get involved in the Sonichu video game.
Sonichu, Issue 1. Hand-drawn premiere issue. Go, Sonichu. Go out and zap to the extreme.
On September 15th, Vivian G began uploading her series of Sonichu audiobooks, which she edited herself. A narrator told the story of the comic in a calm yet dramatic voice, with Vivian herself providing crass commentary in the form of annotations. The project made no attempt at addressing inconsistencies, spelling errors, or storyline issues, and simply delivered the story in a straight, deadpan manner. The team would continue to make audiobook videos covering the Sonichu story for the next few years. Possibly sometime in September, Lord Silly Nipples, impersonating Christian's childhood friend Tiffany Robinson, sent him an email requesting to receive a copy of his Yup, I'm on TV DVD, who upon receiving the gift, leaked the contents onto the internet. This leak featured most of the videos and photos on the disc, including this photo of Barbara Chandler. Due to her significant girth and slumbering state, trolls began calling her Snorlax, which is a large Pokemon known for its sleepy nature. Despite things with Chris and Blanca looking optimistic, he began a courteous discord with one Sarah Jackson, who allegedly first found out about him through her autistic sister, Rose, a Sonichu fan. Like most people engaging with Christian at the time, Sarah was also a fake personality. He informed Blanca of this new development in their relationship. I'm gonna be honest with you. Over the weekend, I met this other woman over the internet, developed a good trust with her. Basically, I'm feeling in between with you and this woman, and I want to make more certain which one I should save myself for. I have told her about you, and I only want to be as fair as possible. I'd hate to make you feel bad, sad, or jealous, because I honestly care about you and your feelings a lot, Blanca Weiss. I understand if this comes as a big surprise to you, but believe me, you are the first I've said I love you to, openly and honestly. Let me ask you, do you want me in an honest relationship, or sexually, more or equal to bad? He gave Blanca Sarah's email address so she could have a talk with her. I care about Christian a lot, and I would not see him hurt by anyone, especially not someone pretending to be a girl to get their kicks from hurting an innocent man who is autistic. I hope you realize what kind of monster you are. Honestly, what do you have to gain from hurting him? Oh, are you going to get more naked pictures of him? Going to rob him of his dignity? You know what? Go do something more productive, like get a job, read a book, I don't know, do something. What kind of person purposely tries to ruin the life of an autistic? It's beyond me. Sarah replied. Chris is a sweet and loving man, and he has
They're
feelings for
gaining
me. You
sentience.
obviously blew it with him.
They're
or he
becoming
wouldn't be talking to
self-aware and
me in the
fighting
first
each other.
place. So you can just jump off a cliff, sister. You couldn't possibly love him the way I have come to. So just give this pathetic game up. I will tell him about the slanderous things you have written to me too, and then we'll see how much more he trusts you. Christian had to make a tough decision, so he chose Blanca
The
to
AI are
be his
fighting
one
each
and
other.
only. He asked if she
What?
would send him some more photographs of herself at varying angles,
I
stating that
love you,
nudes weren't
robots
necessary
and AI
but
in the
appreciated.
future.
He
I
paid no
can
attention
wrong
to
at
Blanca's
humans.
constantly changing physical appearance. Chris also brought up the possibility of a future meeting in real life. While I'm thinking about it, did you say you might be able to make it for Thanksgiving break? If not sooner, I would appreciate your presence. And if at that time you feel ready, my virginity shall be yours. I know I said it before in your previous pics, but you still have a hot body. Oh my god. He then elaborated on their proposed schedule. You can meet my mother and father, chat with them a while, and get to know each other. Then you and we can go upstairs to my bedroom to just hang out, watch TV,
Lucky
or chat a
girl.
while. Maybe even some video gameplay with Guitar Hero or something. For dinner that evening, our first date, I will take you out to McDonald's, Arby's, Burger King, or a small restaurant like that.
Lucky
Then
girl.
I'd let you go back to your hotel or bring you back home. No sex on the first night, but if you'd like to make out, I'd welcome it. For
Lucky
lunch,
girl.
I'll take you to this good all-you-can-eat pizza, salad, soup, dessert buffet that I know of in Charlottesville. Then we can take in a romantic
It's called
movie at
Pizza
the
Hut.
theater, or we can walk the downtown mall or walk in the park. If it doesn't bother you, I may yawn and stretch my arm around you to your other shoulder. If you want to take it further, you
Yeah,
may
it's
pull my
supposed to
hand
be
on
a
your shoulder
surprise
a little
move.
closer to your breast. Of course, this is optional, and that lets you cop a reach into the popcorn bucket, or under that to cop a feel. Stop me if you
I have a
want.
hole cut out in the bottom
You
of the
and I
bucket.
can
I hope
make out
you
in the
understand
theater.
what my
And
intention
if you
is
feel
with
like
that
it
hole.
that night in the privacy of mine or your room, you can take my virginity. Or we can wait till the third night, if there is one before you have to go back to Kentucky. Either way, I would wear a condom then, and in the future until our wedding night. Blanca and Sarah continued to sparkly exchange emails to each other until September 17th,
It'll
when
burn
correctly
you out
guessing
from
his
the
password,
inside and
trolls
take
hacked
all
into
of your
Christian's email
livelihood.
account, and also
And
in
your
turn
life
gained
force. It
access
will
to
be
his
given to
AOL,
Sonic.
MySpace, YouTube, Facebook, and eBay accounts, leaking the majority of his private goings-on to the public. In addition, they acquired previously unreleased nude photos of him, which they sent to ED. One particular picture was a close-up shot of Sonichu doodled on his penis. Another was an erect Chris modeling his mother's underwear. These latest photos also explicitly showcased the unusual, misshapen form of his penis. In the meantime, the trolls changed the background of his YouTube profile page to a tiled illustration of a pickle. In response, Chris created a new email address and made a new YouTube channel, cchan6789. In the midst of all this chaos, Christian began chatting with one Jessie Ruddy, an online female persona conceived by two trolls, possibly through Skype. Their conversations remained fairly casual, though they did discuss some sexually charged topics. At the same time, Chris also began conversing with an Australian girl who went by the internet handle Panda Halo. Like all his recent love interests, Panda, real name Sarah Cassandra Mackenzie, was yet again another troll-created online identity. Growing increasingly hopeful of a future with her, he broke off the promise of a relationship with Blanca and announced his new true love in a video. This was the first instance of Chris introducing his videos with the phrase Captain's Log and listing off the relevant stardate, which was the method of log entry and record keeping used in the Star Trek TV and film franchise. However, it is likely that Chris was actually referencing a Star Trek parody seen in Family Guy instead.
Captain's Log, Stardate, September 24th, 2008. This is an update for the Sonichu fan base. As you can see, I am safe and well. I have no intention of hurting or killing myself.
He finally leaves his bitterness towards Adam Stackhouse behind him.
Also, I would like to update by letting y'all know about Adam Stackhouse, who was the winner of that Parappa contest. Leave him alone.
I forgot about that.
Against him. So you leave him and his family, including his sister, alone.
But I do
all
blame
forgiven.
him for
It's
not
all in the
being
past.
getting with
Done
Megan.
deal.
All I needed to do
Also,
was give her that PSD
I
and
have
she
a big
would have been
announcement.
mine.
I'm taken. I
I'm
don't want
gonna
to give
kill
her true name
House, but leave him alone for
for
now. His son will
my
come.
fear of her, for my worry about her safety. But I want to shout out my love to her. This is for you.
He proceeds to sing Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley, with the song's appearance in a Family Guy episode serving as a backing track.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna give.
Christian and Panda Halo's relationship got heated very quickly. Chris engaged in Skype conversations using the family computer located in their kitchen. Over the course of their chats, he frankly discussed delicate topics such as masturbation. He graphically described his masturbation routine and admitted that he would always have a clean plastic cup on hand in which he would ejaculate as to not make a mess. Chris reflected on what he has learned from watching copious amounts of porn and confessed that he wouldn't like it if women inserted fruits and vegetables into themselves while masturbating because he saw it as a waste of food. But in the case of bananas, it was acceptable due to the protective peel of said fruit, meaning it could be eaten after the fact. While Panda Halo did not appear on video, her voice was enough to convince Chris that she was real. He readily engaged in obscene acts for his webcam. These included Chris impersonating a selection of animals and even masturbating on camera. These videos soon surfaced on the internet. It was possibly around this time that Vivian G had a 3-hour-long chat with Chris through AOL Instant Messaging, during which she desperately tried to convince him that all the women offering themselves to him over the internet were fake. During the conversation, Christian slipped on cat poo in the kitchen and had to clean up the mess. She confronted him over the nude slipped on cat poo in the kitchen and had to clean up the mess. She confronted him over the nude picture he drew of Megan. He accused ED of twisting the image and making it evil, destroying their relationship. Vivian reminded him that Megan had requested that they remained just as friends, but Christian betrayed her. He then proceeded to talk about his need for a sweetheart to fulfill his wish of fathering a daughter by the name of Crystal Weston Chandler. He blamed his random access memory for the sudden change in topic, claiming he can't help himself if his thoughts are random. He revealed that he still went to the Alderman Library at the University of Virginia to look for women. Vivian then explained that people usually go to the library to study and not to hook up with strangers. The discussion gave him a headache. Chris then talked about his desperate need for a dating education class, which would be especially useful for the third date onwards. Vivian pointed out that the dating experience would be completely different for every person, and that sex is not guaranteed on the third date. Chris eventually didn't know how to reply because his mind became a blank. She asked him to roleplay to find out what he would say when meeting a girl. Hinir immediately began talking about drawing his comics. She told him that if he were to say that to a girl, he would be perceived as immature and childish. Christian then asked if it would make a difference if he told women that he drew sex pictures instead. Vivian recoiled, stating that that would be disturbing. She begged for him to seek professional help, admitting that trying to help him herself was like fighting a wall. On September 29th, Christian reignited communications with his former sweetheart, Blanca, telling her that he had a dream in which the name of his true sweetheart-to-be was revealed to be Blanca Weiss. As a show of affection, he announced that he will send his original Sonichu, Rosechu, Black Sonichu, and Gigliami medallions, as well as his drawing of Gigliami to what he thought was her aunt and grandmother's home address. I hope that you are feeling better and that you feel delighted after reading that God and Jesus have finally revealed they're guiding me to you. 2 days later, he sent her an album of grainy photos of himself in an array of poses. On October 4th, Chris released a short video in which he lampoons a line of dialogue used in the MTV animated series Eon Flux.
We're being watched. My name is Christian Weston Chandler. I'm here to find happiness with my true sweetheart, who I've known for over 2 months now. So you trolls best leave us alone. Is anybody listening? Do you believe me? Everybody happy now?
As the months progressed, more and more Jimmy Hill-related artwork began to surface. Screenshots from a supposed Sonichu animated series were leaked as well, and the plotline Screenshots progressed. More and more Jimmy.
Believe me. Everybody happy now?
I don't want
As
to
the
play
months
that game.
progressed, more and more Jimmy Hill-related artwork began to
These evil kids
surface.
too.
Screenshots from a supposed Sonichu animated series were leaked as well, and the plotline of Hill's Sonichu story was revealed, which resembled Christian's own iteration, but with some notable alterations. Sonichu was touted as the first openly gay cartoon character, with Blake being his boyfriend. He hung out with Rosechew, his gal pal, and he loved his parents, Mary Lee Walsh and Jimmy Hill himself. In the cartoon, they would come under attack from the giant Jerkbot, which was modeled after Christian's own naked figure. On October 9th, Trolls received Christian's package meant for Blanca. It included the medallions, as well as his depiction of Blanca's original character. Chris wrote a heartfelt letter to her on the back of the drawing, which Nurse Iki-chan herself read out for a video later uploaded onto YouTube.
Dear Blanca, I am so happy that you were revealed as my true, honest sweetheart to be in the dream I have anxiously waited for since the dreams of me and my future daughter. When before my heart was lost and confused, now I truly see the path to the true, honest love set for me by God and Jesus. I now can truly hardly wait to meet you around Halloween.
Below the letter was an illustration depicting a sleeping, dreaming Christian who dreamt of himself waiting for his sweetheart Blanca at a local hotel. The trolling group quickly uploaded their findings onto ED. In response, Christian recorded a video falsely claiming that even though the trolls got hold of his medallions, Blanca had intercepted them and sent his Sonichu medallion back, which he then modified to make more secure, meaning the medallion around his neck in this video was in fact a copy.
Captain's log. Stardate, October 9th, 2008. Y'all know who I am, so my message should be clear. I'm here to dispel a couple of rumors that have been flying around. Firstly, my Sonichu medal was not stolen. It was entrusted to my sweetheart, Blanca, who lives over in Kentucky. Rest assured, she is not a troll, so nobody say otherwise. I have talked to her on webcam and video and audio and heard her voice over her microphone to my speakers and headphones. Anyway, I sent her the medal, and even though some trolls nearby got hold of it temporarily, she managed to get it back and send it back to me express.
He emphasizes that he added a peg to the back of it to hold his amethyst high school ring. He also mentions his leaked DVD footage, naming the man in the pickle suit as the culprit.
Also, the
What'd you eat for breakfast?
that was not stolen either. The man in the pickle suit tricked me once again. I pretended to be just a gal of mine. So it was sent upon request, but thank God I had the foresight to not make a copy of my director's cut, which has a lot more footage on it than any distributed copy has.
Still convincing himself that Blanca was true, he professes his love for her.
I wish to also proclaim my love for my sweetheart. I love you, Blanca. I cannot bear to live without you, baby. So please come here as soon as possible so we can be together forever. I love you, Blanca. I always will.
My God, Blanca, it's Chris.
It would just pain me if you got hurt. So nobody better harm a hair on her.
How you doing,
From me.
Lord?
As an
What happened
epilogue,
to Skylord?
Chris
Is he
advertises
dead?
the upcoming PS3 game,
He better be
Little Big
dead, or else
Planet.
I'll kill him.
Also, this video,
I'm
as well
leaving.
as all previous videos, are proudly presented to you thanks to the gracious technology from Sony Computer Entertainment America. Look forward for the upcoming Little Big Planet game, coming to only on PlayStation 3, and see exclusive levels that I will be uploading after I've created soon enough, that y'all will be very interested in playing. Thank you.
4 days later, seemingly unperturbed by the possible deception
Christian
concerning
killed a
Blanca,
lot of
Christian made
people.
another video
It
announcing that he
happened
had
in
received the beta
Stupid
release of Little
Bobby.
Big Planet and had already completed making his own level.
The Little Big Planet
What's
level
in
y'all
some
heard
other?
about. I have the beta, and I have completed the level in only 2 nights, and I got published onto the Little Big Planet database on the
Hey,
internet.
that there,
Apparently, my beta had expired, which is kind of bad luck. So I guess I'll just have to wait a week before I can introduce the level fully in video form onto YouTube. Little Big Planet, only on PlayStation 3. Never accept any invitations, even downloadable to a hotspot.
I don't do
He
it. What are you
continues by
gonna
airing his
eat,
grievances
goober?
concerning Jimmy Hill.
Master Jimmy Hill. Master Jimmy Hill, as y'all may know about him, he has perpetrated the rights of science for myself. As y'all
I
well
wasn't
know,
there.
for the longest time
Can
now,
anyone hear
I
me?
am the original owner
Yeah,
and
it's still
creator of
going.
Science and Roast Chip.
Oh, Creator,
So this imposter
true.
is blatantly copying everything note for note from me.
It's not true.
I mean, you take a good look at that.
Fiction.
Take a look at that. Because all that is just this Sonic the Hedgehog action figure custom painted. I can easily
Is
custom
that
paint
Sonic
this
the
look
Hedgehog
like that.
action figure
With
custom
acrylic
painted?
paint even. So simple.
Oh,
And so crappy too.
He compares the appearance of his official Sonichu website with Hill's flagrant imitation, and also mentions the supposed release of Jimmy Hill's Yup, I'm on TV DVD.
And what we did was take every footage that was originated
love
from
that
the
old man
DVD
dressed up in
and
Chris's
done his voice
with that
just to
cartoony
just over
smile.
my name. So instead of me saying Christian Weston Chandler,
I
he,
do,
he,
dear
he just flips
Catmarg.
over each time to say
Are you
Jimmy
still
Hill.
alive?
It even says on the bottom here, the part of Jimmy Hill is played by an actor. An actor. And look at that freaking cover. It's more based on my original comic cover than the original DVD. Anyway, do not buy from Jimmy Hill. He's a fraud, a phony.
Finally, Chris proclaims that the trolls should stop bullying him because he is ignoring them.
You bullies, I know y'all are afraid of me. Because without me, y'all would have nobody to pick on at this point. No matter how many times you direct your influences towards me, I'm just ignoring you. Because basically all you're doing is basically being unheard of. You're basically talking to a brick wall. And I am just blatantly ignoring you hands down. So you may as well just give up. Your opinions and voices are not being heard. Y'all are not scaring me. Y'all are not scaring Blanca. You're scaring nobody, misters. It's time to face facts, misters and misses. I am safe. I am well.
I'm not there. Look at that kitty.
Watch for any bullies.
Kitty with a
And
big
I will
titty.
take all
Yeah.
necessary steps
Look at his
time
big
as
face.
I cross those
I'm gonna give him a
bridges, be they
kiss.
sound or
Give him a
broken. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Have a
boo,
good day or
yeah,
evening.
boo, yeah,
It
boo,
was on this day that the person responsible for the Sarah Jackson character decided to kill her off by assuming the role of her sister and telling Chris that she was allegedly killed in a car crash. On October 14th, Panda Halo created a subsite of Sonichu.net called Sonichu Fans, which was most notable for incorporating an Internet Relay Chat feature, or IRC, where people could gather and chat about Sonichu and other related matters. Over the course of the next couple of months, Chris joined the chat to discuss various topics and answer fan questions. On the same day, YouTube user Icarus69, who was the one who had received Christian's package, showed off the medallions which recently came into his possession. On October 15th, Chris uploaded a 7-page preview of a future Sonichu comic, in which Chris Chan Sonichu travels to the 4-cent garbage building but is captured by a tractor beam. He is forced to revert to his human form, which brings his medallion back into existence. Jason's minion, Beal, grabs hold of the Sonichu medallion, but is shocked that he remains powerless. Christian reveals that the true source of his powers is his amethyst high school ring, to convince the trolls that his medallion was not as important as they had thought it was. He uses his ring to transform back into Chris Chan Sonichu and launches a hyper beam at Beal, which also
But little did they know, they already had the class ring.
On October 20th, the trolls behind Blanca put an end to her story. Filmed himself desecrating the original medallion in a myriad of means. He sliced it and stabbed it with a knife, mimicked it performing forced fellatio on a pickle, placed it into a pickle jar, crushed it with a hammer, and set it ablaze, quenching the fire by urinating on it.
My wooden badge is delicious!
It didn't end like all the other ones, and now I'm angry and scared.
What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan.
Looks like he's dead in that picture.
The exact date of when it happened is not certain, but one day in August 2009,
Wait.
Christian met up with Casey at what was presumably Charlottesville Fashion Square for a friendly meetup,
Oh, what the
seemingly
fuck?
reconciling after the events.
What the fuck? Is there a playlist? Because this is playing out of order. Yay! No, 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 no.
What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan.
Captain's log, stardate, October 21st, 2008. Well, it's done. Blanca and I, well, she broke up with me because the pickle man tricked me again. A few more stupid photos. Anyway, she saw them. She got angry. She broke up with me. So, I'm sad.
Still refusing to accept that Blanca might have been a troll, Christian believed that she broke up with him because of the photos that the pickle man leaked onto Encyclopedia Dramatica.
I hope you jerks and trolls who wanted to break us up are happy. Because all you did was make me feel sad, depressed, and you made me crash into slumber a couple of times. And you know, it takes a lot of stress and exhaust and such to make a person feel like they're gonna crash and burn into a whole bunch of into a long slumber. So anyway, I'm sad, and Blanca is sad too, and even more sad because her grandma died.
Nevertheless, he had the energy to give an update about Panda Halo and Jimmy Hill.
You know, Panda Halo is the moderator for the fan site on Dial Officially Approved. She's also helped me against the imposter Jimmy Hill. Again, do not buy anything from that bastard imposter, because y'all know he did the same thing to Warner Bros. Years ago, and he was put to jail for it. So he deserves to be put in jail again. So, yeah. That's it for now. I'm gonna sulk some more, and maybe I'll upload this video, I don't know. Y'all take care, be safe.
2 days later, Jessie Ruddy revealed herself to have been untrue, and their relationship ended in an explosive chat in which she branded him a homosexual, with Chris defending himself by professing his desires for sexual practices to be administered unto him by a woman. On October 26th, Christian took part in a fan chat through IRC, trying to bounce back from his breakup with Blanca. During an impromptu question and answer session, he admitted that he was already seeing someone else, claiming her name was Chloe. According to him, they met at a GameStop while pre-ordering Little Big Planet, and had already gone to second base together. According to his story, this would mean that they were dating at the same time that Chris thought of Blanca as his true sweetheart, supporting the theory that Chloe was a fabrication. When asked about her just over a year later, he had absolutely no recollection of her. The name might have been a reference to Chloe Rosechew, an original character created by Sarah Cassandra Mackenzie. The following day, Christian uploaded his first Q&A video in which he answered 10 questions from Sonichu fans.
This is the first Q&A video of a lot of Q&A videos of questions from Sonichu fans on the internet. Anyway, y'all know who I am. And this is Lil Chris, teddy bear I put together at Create Career.
Chris introduces Lil Chris, which he created at a Create a Critter workshop after winning a gift certificate from a radio station years ago.
Good little bear. And this is my guitar. Y'all should know my guitar. Also, this is my wristband. I put it on my wrist for when I play guitar. Now, on to the questions.
During the Q&A session, he reveals that he gets his clothes from Goodwill or the Salvation Army, and discusses Black Sonichu and Natesurk.
Are there jails at Quickville? What happens when they commit crimes, and what's the worst crime? We have jails. Same as everywhere else, trial, then sentence, after being turned guilty or innocent. And the worst crime? Importing cigarettes or alcohol. Which the sentence for that would be 10 years or $1,500 fine. Case dismissed.
He once again mentions Chloe.
And for my tale, what's the status of my love life? 100% heart. I met the girl named Chloe at the GameStop where we have reserved a Little Big Planet. She lives around here on Dickerson Road. That's nearby. Other details I will leave discreet because I do not want to reveal any more information than necessary for there can be imposters on the internet trying to get a cheap laugh, whatnot. Oh, look at me, I'm a troll. I think I play around as a girl. Hello. Not a good idea.
Like a troll might be getting
In
across.
Quickville, the sentence
Good job,
for
me.
that would be 20 years prison or $2,000 fine. Case dismissed.
I like how little the fines are
Christian
compared
says
to
he will
losing
become a
decades of
sperm
your
donor.
life.
And would I ever become a... Oh, wait, no.
Chris really just doesn't know the value of
Maybe.
money, though, to be fair.
That's the
To be
answer.
fair.
So that's it for the Q&A, but I want to close this with a comment from somebody else that wants to confirm my identity, a friend of mine, whose name shall remain anonymous at the moment. She says, okay, Chris, if you read out this message I sent, I'll know it's you. Please just read it out in full, and then the trolling should stop. I want to talk with you and catch up on everything. You know it's me because I use the word ban.
He unintentionally reveals the identity of the person in question.
I only talk to you on, if I'm 100% sure it's just between you and me, from Megan Schroeder. Shame on you. You're in the boys. Shame on you.
It is uncertain whether these were Megan's actual words or those of a troll who assumed her identity. On the same day, he uploaded a video showcasing his skills on the game Guitar Hero World's Tour, playing the song Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar. In the video description, he asked viewers to vote for him in the GameStop Be a Star sweepstakes competition held by GameStop to promote the release of the game Guitar Hero World Tour. The contest asked people to send in photos of themselves in a Guitar Hero pose, and the picture with the most votes would win a $400 GameStop gift card. It was rumored that the winner would also be included as a playable character in the game, but this was proven to be false. This was Christian's entry. He uploaded yet another video on the same day, in which he played through his custom-made level in Little Big Planet, based on the events from Sonichu Episode 1. Even though there is no audible commentary from Chris, it is most likely that he did provide it during the recording session, as his in-game character's mouth moves, which happens when the player speaks into a microphone connected to the gaming system. The following day, he uploaded a video in which he shows the optional race dash available in his level. On October 31st, two trolls put up a sign on the front lawn of Christian's house. The sign read, Encyclopedia Dramatica, and also featured an illustration of a black man in a pickle suit. Due to the ever-lengthening Christian page on ED getting too difficult to manage, Cogstaff founded The Quickie, a Wikipedia-style database solely dedicated to cataloging Chris's past and present activities. On November 11th, Christian announced on his Sonichu site that he had won the Be a Star sweepstakes after trolls collectively got together to vote for his photo, under the misconception that his likeness would be included in Guitar Hero. He claimed that he would share his $400 gift card with his church congregation, only to later confess that he spent a sizable portion of it on himself by purchasing games for the Nintendo Wii. 3 days later, he posted several videos concerning the game Little Big Planet. In the first, Chris plays through his custom-made level styled after the cartoon Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Next, he demonstrates how to create your own Sonichu-looking character. Later that day, he uploaded another video with audible commentary for the first time.
Hello, y'all should know me by now. All the people on the Little Big Pan community, as well as all my Sonichu and Rosechu fans. If not, my name is Christian Chandler, okay?
He previews the idea of a collector's case, which he designed to store all in-game items he receives.
Basically, the idea of the whole collector's case here is backing up all your items so that when you get to that point, you just back up all your items into each of these little boxes, and if you feel like you need one of those items for level you're working on, you just come back into the level. You just come back into the level, you add your items. And go get 'em.
In a separate video, he shows off his own personal collection in his own collector's case.
So anyway, I put all my Sonichu level stuff in here and everything else. 34 trophies. I think I put them in there first since I first talked about them. Yeah, so all the comics currently. And all the level parts, big chunks, small.
10 days later, he made a video telling the story of his experiences with the PS3, told through a custom Little Big Planet level.
Take a ride and view some of the games in my collection. And do it out there.
Throughout November, Vivian G took part in an online creative writing project called National Novel Writing Month, which calls for participants to write a 50,000-word manuscript during the month of November. Vivian's story was called A Girl Who Brought Down the World, in which Christopher Winfield Vega, a character who resembled Chris in many ways, eventually becomes the supreme ruler of the entire world. Strewn throughout the story are references to Chris's own life, as she attempted to show him the error of his ways in a creative manner. When the novelette was finished, she sent it to his home address, hoping that he would read it. Upon receiving it, he was most concerned about who was going to pay for shipping, but since NaNoWriMo could send the writers one free copy of their own story, it is likely that Vivian offered Christian's address instead. When he brought up the book again months later, he admitted that he had not read it yet. On December 1st, Chris confessed to Panda Halo that he was looking forward to possibly making a new gal pal. I just went out to Golden Corral with my father. Mom stayed home because she didn't feel well. Anyway, I've made a new gal pal today, the server who served me and my father. She was cute. Her name is Caitlin. Eventually, she commented on the Family Guy episode I was playing on my PSP. I introduced myself to her, and there was a peaceful spark. I left her a note on a napkin. I noted my being internet famous and mentioned Sonichu.net, then listed my phone number in inquisition of being friends. If I'm there again, I'll make a note to talk to her again, or ask about her among the staff. My family and I personally know a couple of the other Femall staff members, both older and taken. He never mentioned her again. Throughout the last month of the year, Christian continued to make sporadic appearances in the Sonichu Fans IRC, in which he updated his fans on his personal goings-on and answered any questions. During these chats, Vivian confronted Chris with fake information that challenged his worldviews, such as asking him about non-Caucasian female fans and telling him that a gay fan found him attractive. In an IRC conversation from December 15th, a purportedly female user named Blue Spike asked Chris whether he would film a tour of his house. He said he'd consider it. 3 days later, he revealed that he paid $35 to have Sonichu copyrighted. In the same chat, Vivian informed Chris of a Sonichu fan named Ryan Cash, who killed himself when he heard that there would be no more Sonichu comics released as long as the ED page was still up. Christian said that he was saddened by it, but still made sure to advertise a virtual meeting place for Sonichu fans in PlayStation Home. He added that he would consider making a tribute video for Ryan. On December 22nd, Vivian brought up Ryan Cash again, claiming that his family hoped that their son's death did not upset Chris too much. He confessed that he had an emotional moment, but was feeling better. He offered a message for the family. Try to move on and live life as peacefully as possible. As much as possible. I know that God
Don't move on
and
from your
Jesus would have
son's
told
death.
him the
It just
same thing
happened,
from the
okay? Get
Bible.
over it, will ya?
5 days later,
Break that
Christian and
word!
Panda Halo had an allegedly
Break
private
that
chat during
word!
which she told him that Robert Simmons had come to Australia for a visit and that she met up with him. She constantly teased Christian, inciting jealousy, by saying that Robert was a really nice guy and that they went to the beach together, where she got to try out
And
her
you was
new
fucking
bikini.
your
When she asked about the
fucking your
possibility of a
saliva
threesome
everywhere. You get
involving
that
Rob,
tongue back
Chris,
in your
and
mouth,
herself,
Missy.
Christian confessed that he was against it. They
Alright,
discussed
get
whether
all over the
threesome
chat
would be referred
room.
to by
What's wrong
Christian's
with you?
preferred
What's
euphemism,
wrong with you?
masturbating. He admitted that he would be willing to be penetrated by a strap-on dildo when they're finally together, and also said
Yikes.
that he would have sex with a female dog for her, specifically a collie.
What
Christian
the
also
fuck?
revealed that he bought a chocolate condom for $1, which he will be saving for their first time. He also confessed that he loved her. The next day, they had another chat in which they discussed more private details, such
I
as Chris's fecal
feel like a
incontinence.
chocolate
During the
condom that
conversation,
you buy
Panda
for $1 is
confessed
gonna
that she
taste
was having
disgusting.
emotional and painful period pains and unleashed a series
Also,
of bizarre outbursts at Christian.
I
It
imagine like
especially
there'd be
angered
fruit
her when
leather
he said that
throughout.
he
I
was
did
not
not
for
know.
cybersex at the
How
moment.
the fuck is that
Panda
gonna work?
instructed Chris to fuck a dick you're
It is not.
anal
A
sex.
chocolate condom would
He
not
later revealed that he lacked
function
inspiration for making YouTube
unless
videos
like
due to his
there's
sudden
a
internet
decent
fame.
amount of like
Panda
actual
says
latex
that he
in
must
it. Then
suck
you
being
don't need
famous
it.
for fucking being a fucking retard with autism, you dumb dog fucker. He took little notice of her verbal eruptions and, in general, was growing distant in their interactions. Panda Halo finally managed to convince Chris to film his first video in over 2 months.
Captain's Log. I wish to express my deepest appreciation for everybody who voted for me on the Guitar Hero Be a Star contest.
Catborg is
And for
fucking spit
before
everywhere.
allow me to be the
Nasty.
first to win the first of the $400 gift cards weekly there.
He also addresses Ryan Cash's family.
And for Ryan Cash and his family, I feel for you and I'm sorry, but best thing you could do for Ryan and yourselves, just to move on. Try to be as happy.
Move on. Your kid died like a day ago. It's done. It's over with. Move on with your life. Let's get a day alright. Come on. It's not like you lost a video game console or something.
In the room after seeing Optimus Prime die in the original movie.
He informs his fans
I'm sorry,
that
what did
Sonic
you just do, Chris?
Die in the a lot worse than when that child locked himself in the room after so much power. That's a lot worse. Gee, so much power. That's what.
Is he really like getting an ego off of the thought that
that's a lot worse than when that child locked himself in the room after seeing Optimus Prime die in the original movie.
Made a kid kill himself?
Will be released in early January and announces that the first meetup of the Sonichu Home Club over on the PlayStation
made a kid
will take place on January 2nd.
Do not leave me, fans, because more is to come, definitely, but just depends on my inspiration. I get a lot of stress in my life, and it sometimes hinders me, and even my mental block. Yep, a little embarrassed from saying that, but it's a truth. But you can depend on me to have the comics up as soon as possible at my own pace. So patience will be greatly rewarded. Thank y'all very much, and have a pleasant day, and talk to y'all again.
2 days later, Cassie Rosechew emailed Chris letting him know that she and her friend Sarah May created Sonichu Girls, a web forum dedicated to the female fanbase of Sonichu. He quickly came and introduced himself to everyone, and claimed that he empathized with the fairer sex. I feel that I am truly in touch with my feminine side, to the point where I'm capable of learning from that to better understand how to treat women in a caring, nurturing, positive way.
There is a ridiculous amount of foreshadowing in the Christian lore.
Sometimes I wonder between my caring attitude and the lack of a sweetheart if I was born the wrong gender. I wonder what it would have been like if I had actually been born a girl. But afterwards, I'd realized that I should still appreciate being born a boy to gentleman. God gave me the package, and I signed for it. He thanked his female fandom for treating him like a king. On that same day, Gay for Sonichu, a web forum for the gay Sonichu fans, was founded by one named Ignatius J. Riley, named after a character from the novel A Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. On January 2nd, 2009, Christian held his first Sonichu Home Club get-together. On January 2nd, from the novel Ants, was founded by one named Ignatius J. Riley, named after a character from the novel A Confederacy of Dunces by John Kennedy Toole. On January 2nd, 2009, Christian held his first Sonichu Home Club get-together. This event was recorded and later transcribed, but that video has since disappeared and thought to be lost. On the same day, he received an email from someone claiming to be Takashi Tezuka, a famous video game director associated with Nintendo. He stated that Nintendo were going to introduce Sonichu and Rosechu as characters in the game Animal Crossing City Folk for the Nintendo Wii. But during development, they left their Wii Connect 24 feature on, and the characters wandered off into the network and were encountered by other players of the game. The following day, Christian participated in a 2-hour-long IRC chat with members of the Sonichu girls who persistently praised and complimented Chris to the point of collectively exclaiming about how they all wanted to lose their virginity to him. Towards the end, he confessed that he didn't get along well with his father, citing his unwillingness to wash his hands, the number of arguments he starts, and his homophobia as pressure points. While getting asked why he didn't move out and live life on his own, he said he was feeling stressed. Blue Spike revealed that her real name was Julie. Behind the scenes,
Julie! Oh no.
was getting more heated, which came to a boil in an IRC chat a day later. Julie confronted Chris, upset to find out that he was still dating Sarah, and Chris was compelled to say that he loved her more than Panda. Then Sarah joined the chat and understandably felt betrayed. Everyone in the chat called him a jerk. Julie was so hurt that she threatened to kill herself and left the chat. She responded with a somber, "Damn." He then told Sarah that he loved her more than Julie.
I'm sorry?
After a while, "Damn," to kill herself and left the chat. Christian responded with a somber,
What the fuck? Why did I do it? Damn. Oh, Cat Mark, are you still here? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Damn. So anyway, baby, you pop her off
He
or
then
not?
told Sarah that he loved her more than Julie. After a while, Blue Spike came back. Chris regrettably confessed that he got carried away and professed his love to both of them. Julie threatened to reveal his lying ways to the Sonichu girls. While Chris was still virtually being yelled at and branded as a heartbreaker, he confessed that he needed to finish the comic and left the chat. This day also marked the first documented Skype chat between Chris and Julie, with Julie revealing that she was moving to the United States from her home country, the fictitious Mulvania. On January 5th, Christian finally released Sonichu Episode 18 to the public. The prologue of the story once more establishes that all the relevant characters are of legal age by showing the birthday parties of Sonichu, Rosechu, and the Chaotic Combo. At Jungle Beach, Bubble surprises Blake with a birthday cupcake, and they share a kiss. The episode itself begins with news reporters covering the spring break party, with the anchor of FQX News, Greta Squall, without warning, tearing off her suit to jump into the party herself. The scene cuts to DJ Jams to Sonichu, who thanks Mayor Chandler for keeping Quickville clean, noting that nobody has to go home drunk or Somkey. He then promotes Quick Cola and informs the listeners of the upcoming events. The scene then joins Gigliami and Blanca backstage, excitedly waiting to perform. Sonichu and the Rosechus are at the beach enjoying the sun when they spot a mysterious Rosechu. Magi-chan telepathically informs Bubbles that there is a Sonichu crystal in the ocean, ordering her to fetch it. Sarah Mackenzie and the late Sarah Jackson make a cameo appearance. Chris incorporates an illustration made by Panda Halo into the artwork. Bubbles brings Blake off to the side and tells him that after she receives the crystal, they will meet under Pier 969. After she leaves, the dark new character assumes Bubbles' likeness. Chris then tells the origin story of this new addition to the cast, claiming that one egg from the Rainbow Blast in Episode 1 was launched into space and landed on the moon. After attached, Count Graduan appeared to mentor it into adulthood. He announced that she would not be able to give birth, but in return would acquire both male and female genitalia. She,
What?
or he, evolved into Sylvana Rosechew. Back in the present day, Bubbles is searching for the crystal,
You can't
and
have
Christian
kids,
inserts
but
a
you
reference
can
to the
have
Disney
both
animation
sexes.
The Little Mermaid. Meanwhile, Blake has just purchased a box of condoms labeled Jimmy, when Sylvana, disguised as Bubbles, surprises him. She convinces him to forego the condoms. They get to the pier and have sex. Unbeknownst to Blake, Sylvana secretes a sleep-inducing nectar from her vagina, which tranquilizes him. Bubbles then texts Blake, letting him know that she will meet him soon. So Sylvana transforms into Blake. In the meantime, Punchy tells Wild how much he fancies Angelica, but can't seem to express his feelings for her. Wild informs him of a dating education class at Quickville University. They agree that they both will join it. Gigliami is backstage and discovers the sleeping body of the true Blake. Bubbles is about to meet with whom she thinks is Blake when Magi-chan sends her a message telling her that he is an imposter. Skeptical, she tells him to use a thunderbolt attack on her. Unable to replicate the attack, she realizes that it's not the real Blake. But before Sylvana could destroy Bubbles, Magi-chan teleports her to Blake's bedside. Finally, Gigliami gets to perform the song War of Love, written by Blanca Weiss. After she finishes, Christian informs his readership that Blanca found herself a boyfriend and moved back to Kentucky. He also mentions the difficulty he had in choosing one out of 3 women he was flirting with over the internet.
Crazy.
Fortunately, God and Jesus made the decision easier for him by killing Sarah Jackson in a car crash and revealing the other to be a troll, possibly referring to Jesse Ruddy. This left only Sarah Mackenzie unscathed, promising her his virginity and eternal loyalty. He gives a brief message of condolence to Ryan Cash. On the same day the comic was officially completed, Chris received an email from noted game designer and the then senior executive of Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto, an elaborate scheme of a troll. The fake Miyamoto told him that he was interested in meeting Chris concerning the Sonic 2 video game. The same troll also assumed the role of James Zilberstein, the alleged lawyer for Nintendo.
Hello? Okay. For some reason. Yeah. Hello? Mhm. Oh, what's your question? Well, of course. What do you think I'm on? Wait, what? What?